Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. My name is Kassandra and I'm going to take you through this full body yin yoga practice. This is a really amazing self-care sequence. It's going to target pretty much all the major areas of your body. So if you've been feeling maybe just a little bit stressed or anxious or depleted in any way, this is just a really nice, nourishing practice. I do recommend to have either 2 blocks or a bolster. For example, we are going to begin in supported fish, so props are really great to have. If you don't have that at home, you can definitely just grab some pillows or some couch cushions, just something that you can use to kind of close the gap between your body and the floor. So in yin, we're in the poses for a few minutes. I don't really talk throughout, so you can really make this a comfortable, cozy space for yourself. And yeah, just give yourself this opportunity to enjoy the practice and tune in with yourself a little bit. So let's begin in supported fish. I'm gonna have my blocks on their second level. First one goes underneath the upper back and the other one supports the back of the head. And you can either have your legs in this butterfly shape if that's comfortable, or you can just have your legs straight out in front of you. I'm just going to keep my legs straight. That's what feels best for me today. But if you wanted that hip opener, then definitely just bring soles of the feet together to touch and let your knees fall open. Let your breath just be at a natural pace so you're not forcing it. In and out through your nose. And whatever's been on your mind lately, every time you exhale, see if you can drop it and just let it go a little more. Giving yourself this full permission to really just take care of yourself, to go easy and slow down. From here, we'll be coming into supported bridge pose. So we'll need to move one block underneath our hips. I'm gonna first tuck my chin to my chest, just so I can move one block off to the side. And then you can lift yourself off of the other one and give yourself a moment just to have your spine totally leveled to the ground. Feeling the effects of that first pose. And then we can bend into the knees, lift the hips, and you can have the block at any height that is suitable to you. So maybe that first level is enough, or if you'd like, you can also go up on the second height. Just make sure this doesn't cause any discomfort, especially in your lower back. And you have some options with the legs here as well. This is traditional supported bridge, exactly like I am. You can make this a little bit or a lot more intense by straightening your legs out. Again, be really careful with your lower back here. And you can also even do a butterfly variation here in the pose, which is what I'm going to be doing for this one. So soles of the feet together, knees apart, or of course, just feet flat on the floor with your knees bent. Try to shrug your shoulders away from your ears. Relax tension from your neck. And even like your facial muscles. Noticing if you're frowning or if you're squinting with your eyes. Just feel yourself melt into the block or the prop. Staying here for a few more minutes. So whichever variation you were doing with your legs, you can just bring the knees back up, feet flat to the floor, so that we can push the feet into the mat to lift the hips off of the block and move it over to the side. And again, just give yourself a moment to pause with your spine leveled on the mat. It might feel good to let your knees drop in towards one another, or maybe it feels better for you to pull your knees in towards your belly. We'll be coming to take a seat in a variation of half butterfly. So you can roll to one side and really try to push into the floor to lift yourself up. So I'm going to do a side bending version of half butterfly pose. So with the right leg out to the side, I'm going to have my left foot in, left knee is bent, and rather than folding directly over head to knee, which you're welcome to do at home if that's what you prefer, I'm going to do a side body stretch. So I'm going to use my block just so I can bring my elbow over to the block. I'm going to have my left hand towards my lower back to help roll that shoulder back. And then I'm just going to be supporting my head with my arm here. And you can play with the height of the block. So getting a hamstring stretch, and at the same time, really stretching through the left side of the waist. You can play a little bit with the angle that you have with your legs. It's perfectly fine if you have a bit of a bend in your right knee. If you find it difficult to breathe deeply in and out through your nose, it's usually an indication that you've gone a little too far into a pose. And just holding here. If you had your left hand to your lower back, bring it out in front of you to help you push into the floor. Very slowly rise on up. And we'll be setting ourselves up for this side bending half butterfly on the other side. So my right knee bends and now my left leg extends out. I'm going to place my block over. Left elbow on the block. This time my right hand goes towards my lower back, just to roll that right shoulder back, almost as if I was leaning against the wall behind me rather than rolling and crunching and forward. And holding in this pose for a few minutes. And it's normal in yin if you notice your mind beginning to wander. Maybe you're daydreaming or just getting distracted in some way. Whenever you notice this happen, just acknowledge it. Don't make a big deal out of it. Just come back to the present moment, focusing on the flow of your breath or focusing on the sensation of the pose. Remember, this is meant to be a self-care practice. So we don't want to spend our time ruminating over things or worrying or planning what it is that we're going to do next. We're really taking the time to pause. If your right hand was at your lower back, bring it out in front of you, push into the floor, and slowly rise on up. And now we're just going to open both legs into that straddle so we can fold directly forward. So blocks can be really nice to have here for this, either one or both. So in yin, we allow our spines to round. We don't have to have a flat back. And you can play around a little bit with the height of your block or whatever props you have at home, maybe your bolsters. Just try to relax into it as much as possible. We have 3 principles we work with in Yin Yoga. The first is to find your edge, to resolve to be still, and finally to hold the pose. So your edge is really just that first point of sensation, not pushing yourself too much, not chasing intensity. So like a 4 out of 10 if it was an intensity scale. Resolve to be still, meaning try not to fidget or move or contract your muscles. Really let gravity do the work for you. And holding the pose, meaning that we're here for a few minutes so that we can really get into the fascia and the deep connective tissues of the body and working on our joints as well. Go really slowly, just using your hands, pushing into the floor. Walk them back inch by inch. Keep breathing deeply even as you come out of this pose. Not rushing our transitions. And you can bring your legs in towards one another. Whatever feels good here, maybe just giving them a big squeeze. So transitioning into pigeon pose, or what we call swan in yin yoga. You can do this with or without your blocks. So we're going to start on the right side first. Bringing right knee behind your right wrist. And if you feel like your hips are elevated quite high off the mat, having one block to support you here can make the pose a lot easier to hold. You can also play around with having the blocks underneath your chest or underneath your head. So again, really honoring finding your edge. So not making this too intense that you have a hard time breathing deeply or have a hard time kind of relaxing into it. As much as possible, we're letting gravity do the work for us. But I know this can be quite an intense hip opener. So less really is more with these poses. Don't feel like you have to go all the way to the end of your range of motion. You can absolutely pull back. Your body will naturally open up the longer we hold this. So just find a slow, steady breath rhythm as we hold here. Push your hands into the ground to lift your head and chest up. And you can just transition back into tabletop pose, maybe stretching that back leg behind you or doing some hip circles, really whatever feels good to release that right hip. And whenever you're ready, we'll go and ease over to the second side. So you'll bring your left knee somewhere behind your left wrist. And again, maybe a block goes to support that left hip if you feel like you're hovering uncomfortably off of the mat. And think of really lengthening and stretching out of your lower back as you fold forward and down. You can always stay up onto your forearms, coming up on a block or two, or bringing the forehead down to the mat. Not assuming that how a pose felt on one side will be the same thing on the second side. You might need to make accommodations and adjustments here. Again, remember, we're doing this for self-care. We're not trying to prove anything or to push ourselves too far. This is meant to feel good and to be nourishing and nurturing. So really let go of expectation and just meet your body wherever it is today. Lifting out nice and slow. And just like before, coming back to tabletop. Any movements or counterpose that feel good here. Just to get the blood flowing again down through that left leg. And we'll come right away into Balasana, child's pose. So big toes coming together, knees as wide as you would like them to be, pressing your hips back towards your heels and folding on down. Be careful not to hike your shoulders all the way up towards your ears. Give your neck lots of space. And we're trying to kind of melt the chest down towards the floor. And at the same time, melt our hips back. And walk your hands so you can lift yourself up. We're just going to sit on our heels just for a moment to do a very simple twist. So you can bring your knees in towards one another. I'm just going to bring my left hand to my right knee, right fingertips behind me, rotating the torso over to the right. Pull the lower belly in. And second side, right hand to your left knee. Left fingertips behind you as you twist, sitting up nice and tall. And releasing. Let's lower all the way down to our backs. Getting ready for Shavasana, this final resting pose. You can draw your knees in towards your chest. Maybe rocking a little bit side to side. Something else that might feel good can be to just widen your feet and drop your knees. Doing this little windshield wiper motion just to release the low back in case there's any sensitivity in that area from any of the poses that we've done. And when you're ready, extend your arms and your legs and really take the time to get super comfortable and settled here. Take a nice long savasana. One of the best kinds of poses that we can do for self-care. Feel yourself get a little bit heavier with every exhale. You might scan along your body, starting at the crown of your head and gently working your way down. Inviting each body part to relax and release a little bit more. So that you could really enjoy this full body relaxation with no lingering tension or stiffness. And we'll stay here for a few minutes. And very slowly, use the power of your breath to bring a little bit more energy back into your body. Maybe first just through the extremities as you open and close your hands, or you start to roll through your ankles. Maybe turn your head side to side. Now with this deeper breath, it might feel good as if you were just waking up in the morning, extending your arms up, getting that big stretch from your fingers down to your toes. And you can roll to one side, push your hands into the floor to lift up, taking a seat here. Sitting up tall and staying really present so you can close your eyes once you've come to a comfortable position for your hips and your low back. Soften your shoulders away from your ears. And let's bring our hands together at the heart. Really take a moment to honor yourself, to give yourself a kind word. Noticing the effects of your practice on your physical health, mental health, really just whatever has changed and shifted. And we'll close by chanting Om together one time. So let's inhale to chant, breathe in. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing this full body yin yoga practice with me. I really hope that you did find it nourishing and enjoyable. I have many other yin yoga practices here on my channel. I'll be sure to link to the playlist down below if you wanted to try more of these kinds of classes. Please subscribe and hopefully we'll practice again together very soon.